Okay, so now we're going to be talking about elements to create or generate power in our techniques. So I'm going to be demonstrating these through traditional techniques and fighting combinations, so you will get a little bit of each. So for example, I've talked in the past about full hip action and partial hip action. Full hip action being going here and using the full snap of my hips. Partial hip action being here into a back stance. So that's already gotten talked about a little bit, and I want to continue to show that in this video, but with the other elements that generate power. So the first one is posture. Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether it's in a fighting stance or in a traditional stance. If you're completely slouched over or if you're bent too far back, you can't fight properly and you have no way to continuously generate energy. Because if I'm leaning too far back, as I throw my kick, I am now off balance. And this means that there's no power going into my strike because part of my power is going backwards. Same thing if it's too far forward whenever I'm using my kick. For example, if I'm leaning too far forward for whatever reason and I try to throw a kick, I can't properly chamber a lot of the time. I can pop it up here and shoot it straight out if it's a low kick. But I can't throw a high kick unless it's a little cheerleader thing. And there's no power to it, there's no strength, it's just a bad kick. So, posture and torque. Those are two of the elements so far. Push-pull. In fighting, we see it all the time here. As one hand goes out, the other is simultaneously returning, and one goes out, one is simultaneously returning. And that works in with my posture and my torque. As you will see, my hips continue to move and the balls of my feet continuing to twist. And the same thing will be said in my traditional movements. Here's the fold. There's my strike. One came in as one came out. Now we're going to talk about forward momentum. Forward momentum being all of my body weight going in through my strike as I'm striking. Not before, not after, but simultaneous. So forward momentum, a good way of showing this is during a lunge. So I'm just going to do a lunging jab. The moment I'm going forward, my hand starts. At the moment my foot touches the ground, it's at the fullest extent. So the moment my power stops, my fist is finished all at once. And that's our goal. We want to make sure that we don't touch a target, we go through the target. And a lot of that can be generated through this forward momentum. So forward momentum, posture, push-pull action, and torque. Those are four. Now we're going to talk about timing. Timing is the thing that creates all of this as one single action. Timing being, I don't want to do like a boxer would, a little step and punch without my timing. Because if I just step and then I throw a punch, the timing's off, so therefore there's no forward momentum, there's no torque, and the posture doesn't matter because the rest hasn't started. So, the moment foot touches and twists is the moment timing of the straight strike. And then if I want to return it, okay, because that's push-pull. And it too has timing along with my hand movements. So, timing, push-pull, posture, torque, forward momentum. So that's 5 out of them so far. Wrist snap. Wrist snap again, using a boxing movement. The twisting motion that I use as I'm striking, that is the wrist snap. Because at the fullest extension of my strike, I want to rotate it. You see it a lot in traditional here. My hand's in chamber. I'm going to step into a front stance and center punch. And as I do, here, and I rotate the strike. So that wrist snap, instead of having 4 or 5 inches with 100 pounds of force, I now have 2 inches with maximum force. Because it's my body weight from forward momentum plus torque and timing, and it just continues to build on itself. So, here we go. Timing of when to use all of this is very crucial, and a snap is very, very crucial. Making all the power go into one point. And that's in every strike, whether it's the ball of the foot round kick, ball of the foot front kick, top of the foot round kick, or shin, corner edge of the heel side kick, or heel kick. It doesn't matter. There's very, very minimal surface area for your strike on your body to connect with the body and target. So you want to maximize the pounds, the pressure per square inch into the target. So timing, push, pull, forward momentum, posture, torque, wrist snap, dropping, and upward thrust, the next 2. Whenever you have something, you can always drop your weight into it. So for example, a couple of you all have seen me do a little bit of breaking boards and bricks and stuff. So one of the things that you'll do is you'll have 2 center blocks on each side and a brick laying on the edges of both the center blocks. As I'm coming down, I'm using my push, I'm using the turning rotation or snap, and I'm also dropping my weight through the object. So there, using your weight to drop is very, very effective because you have your weight, which is the equivalent of forward momentum, and you also have gravity, which is 9.18, I think, feet per second. Not miles, feet. And then you have upward thrust. Upward thrust is very interesting because you can see it best in a throw. A lot of people would argue that you can do upward thrust with your uppercuts. Other people would try to argue that that's all torque because of the rotation. So that one's a little bit iffy. But if I have someone in a shoulder throw, bend my knees, my hips are placed properly, and I lift with my legs as I rotate to drop them, the upward lift with my legs is the upward thrust that I'm referring to. That's the best way that I can show it. Unfortunately, I do not have a partner at this time. So those are some general ideas of the best ways to generate power. These are the elements that you need to know. Please memorize them. So one more time. You have timing, push-pull, forward momentum, posture, torque, wrist snap, dropping your weight, and upward thrust. There you go. That's all of them. So a little bit of ideas that you can use these in traditional aspects. For dropping your weight in a traditional movement, downward elbow strike. As I'm coming down with my weight to settle into this back stance, I'm also dropping that elbow straight onto an object, whether it be the spine on somebody, the collarbone on somebody, whatever. Timing we've already gone over. Wrist snap we've already gone over. Push-pull. Forward momentum. That's always really easy to do when you have a slide-up technique, a lunging technique, even to some extent just a regular old step. I think that covers just about everything. Okay guys, so I just want you to make sure that you understand these concepts, because I will be talking about them in class, and I will be expecting you to know them for all the belt tests.